Now I would like to tell you stories about my favorite animal. Can you guess what it is? It's the cat. I love cats. I love stories about cats. I love poems about cats. Here's one I like. Cats sleep anywhere. On a table, on a chair, on top of the piano, on a window's ledge, in the middle, on the edge, open drawer, empty shoe, anybody's lap will do, snuggled in a cardboard box or in the closet with your socks, anywhere. Cats don't care. Cats sleep anywhere. Now, I've heard that dogs and cats are enemies. I don't know if I really believe that because I've known a lot of cats and dogs that are best friends. But it's true that sometimes they don't get along, and there's a story behind that. And who better to tell the story than the little mouse who was there when it all began? There was this house that I used to go to for my supper sometimes. There was a little crack in the door behind the house, and that's where I used to sneak in. You wouldn't know it was there, but as a mouse, I can sneak into the tiniest little holes. But I have to say, I don't know if I like that place anymore. There used to be all kinds of food to eat, but lately the place was going downhill. I could hardly find any crumbs for my supper. And it was getting dangerous too. That place had a cat. And the cat was also getting skinnier and hungrier, and I knew it wasn't going to be long before I was starting to look like a tasty cat treat. Well, I decided to check it out just one night to see if I could find anything, and I squeezed in. And as I was looking around, I started to hear people shouting. Now, I might have a twitchy little mouse nose, but I'm not a nosy kind of mouse. I don't like to eavesdrop on conversations, but they were yelling so loud I couldn't help but overhear. It was the man and the woman who lived in the house. First, the woman was yelling. She was saying, "It's your fault we're starving. You sold my mother's ring without telling me. And all you got for it was a horse that won't even run." And then the man said, "I don't see what your mother's ring has to do with any of this." And then she said, "Because I have told you 1,000 times, it's not just a ring, it's magic. Whoever wears the ring will never be hungry." So the man said, "Well, you know I don't believe in all that magic and nonsense." And then she said, "Oh, you don't believe anything I say. That's why you're so thin now that your pants are falling down around your knees." And they were going on and on like that, and I was just listening to them. But now I understood why there was no more food in the place. It was this magic ring that kept the pantry stocked up. I wish I had a ring like that. I wonder if they make them in mouse sizes. Anyway, I was so distracted listening to them yell that I wasn't paying attention to what was happening around me, and all of a sudden, everything went dark. I didn't know if I was alive or dead, and I said, "Hello?" And then I heard a voice I recognized. It was the voice of the dog who also lived in the house, and he said, "Hold on a second, cat. Don't eat that little mouse just yet." The cat said, "Wow, why not? I haven't had a decent meal in weeks. I'm so hungry." "I know, I'm hungry too, but let's think about this. If you eat that little mouse now, he's going to fill your stomach for a few hours. But if we're smart, he's going to fill our stomachs forever, and same for our masters too." Now the cat said, "I think that you've gone a little batty. This is a mouse. It's not a that chicken. It's not going to lay eggs for us. The dog said, no, listen. He's a mouse. That means he's very tiny. That means he can sneak into places that you and I can't sneak into. So listen, I know which house has our master's magic ring. I've sniffed it out, but I can't get in there, and neither can you, Cat, but the little mousie can. What do you say, little mousie? Do we have a deal? Well, that sounded a lot better than becoming a cat's lunch, so of course I agreed to help them out. The cat picked me up by the tail and jumped out the window, and then the dog followed, and together we ran through the alleyways, and I was being bounced around by the cat. No way to travel, I can tell you that. So we arrived on the edge of the town, and there we came across a river. Now right away the cat said, I don't know how to swim across a river. And I didn't know either. They don't really teach mice swimming lessons. But the dog said, don't worry, I'll paddle you across. We got on the dog's back and he paddled us across the river. And then we kept going with me bouncing around in the cat's mouth until we reached the next town over. And the dog sniffed his way over to a house. The light was on in the window, and the three of us snuck up to the window to take a look inside. And there we saw the man and the woman of that house. And they had a table full of food, and they were eating and eating away with big smiles on their face. We had the right place. The cat snuck around back and tried to find a little crack for me, and when he did, I went. I squeezed through the little crack and went inside the house. I was happy to be alive, but I have to be honest with you, I wasn't sure I was going to find a ring in there. I mean, mice, we know how to sniff out crumbs and cheese and things to eat, but gold? We don't really have a nose for gold. If we did, I wouldn't be hungry. But I had to do my best. I looked around everywhere I could, and then I got really lucky. I saw the ring shining in the moonlight on a table with all of the woman's other jewelry. I wasted no time. I climbed up there, took the ring in my teeth, and I squeezed back out to meet the cat and the dog. The cat said, oh, it's too bad. I guess now I have to fulfill my promise and not eat you, which is a shame because you still look tasty. Now give me the ring. The dog's probably going to drop it on the way back. Gave the ring to the cat, who put it in his teeth, and then the three of us set out again. The dog paddled us across the river, and as we reached their town again, the cat took off over the rooftops with the ring in his mouth, and the dog took off through the alleyway saying, thank you, mouse, bye. After that adventure, I needed a big nap, so I went back to my little nest and had a big sleep. Now, about a week later, I was curious to know how the whole story had turned out, so I went back to the house of the dog and the cat, and I peeked in through the window, and there I saw the man and the woman of the house, and they had a table full of food, and they were eating and eating and eating. And there was the cat sitting on the table eating from a big bowl of his own. So the ring was magic. That was good news for me. I was going to go in there and get a little nibble of my own. So I went around back to the house, to my little hidey hole, and that's where I saw the dog, tied up, looking so miserable. And I said to him, dog, in there there's a table full of food. How come you're not eating with everyone else? And the dog said, that cat, he tricked me. He ran across the rooftops with the ring, got home before I did, and brought it to our masters. They thought that the cat was the one who rescued the ring. They didn't know that I'm the one who found the house and found you, little mouse, and swam everybody across the river and brought everyone back. Oh, but I'll tell you something. I'm going to hate that cat for the rest of my days, and I'm going to tell all my puppies to never trust a cat. Oh, well, that was quite the story. It's too bad about cats and dogs, but I'm just happy that nothing ever happened to make that cats and mice don't get along. And what's better than a cat is kittens. I have one little poem about kittens. Our old cat had kittens 3. What do you think their names should be? One is a tabby with emerald eyes and a tail that's long and slender. And into a temper she quickly flies if anything should offend her. I think we should name her this. I think we should name her that. Now, don't you think that Pepperpot is a nice name for a cat? One is black with a trim of white, and her feet are all white fur. If you stroke her, she sets her tail upright and quickly begins to purr. I think we should call her this. I think we should call her that. Now, don't you think that Sootykin is a nice name for a cat? One is a tortoiseshell, yellow and black, with plenty of white about her. If you tease her, she puts up her back. She's a feisty one, don't you doubt her. I think we should call her this. I think we should call her that. Now, don't you think that Scratchaway is a lovely name for a cat? Our old cat had kittens 3, and I fancy their names should be Pepperpot, Sootykin, Scratchaway. There, were there ever kittens such as these to compare? And we call their mother, now what do you think? Tabitha Longclaws Tiddlywink. Thank you for sharing these perfect stories with me.